Here we are. Hey guys, thank you for your patience. I'm surviving this incredible experience. Yesterday was day 2 of the Democratic National Convention, and I got so into it that I am almost speechless. So I want to start with the main theme of the day, which is this. We are um, we are witnessing something that I can only refer to as a phenomenon, right? This is a moment in history like no other. And my theme of today, of course, is the star of the show last night, which was who was Michelle Obama. Michelle Obama, we all know, has been stuck with a motto that she carried around and probably has said far less than the rest of us, which is this. And this is specifically about the Trump and MAGA supporters. Michelle has always said, when they go low, we go high. Obviously, the point of that is trying to communicate that, we don't need to roll around in the mud. Turns out that there is a gulf of difference between ignoring insults and taking it versus being tacky and rolling in the mud. And Michelle Obama found her sweet spot. And I think, of course, the Democratic Party has also. The biggest mistake, I think, and this is not meant to be an insult to Joe Biden himself, but in terms of the strategy, when he was running for office in 2020, when he referred to Donald as the former guy, and as if we could just forget him. And I think that was a strategy, but in a very swift time, that was clearly not going to work. And we needed to take off the gloves and face what this bully is about. And, the Tim Walz approach is ideal. These guys are weird. Donald is weird. So today, this morning on Morning Jen, I have clips for you, both sort of from the main stage of speakers, and I'm not going to tell you what those are now. And I also I'm teasing out for you a couple, like 2 of my own personal interviews, because I was out there. Collecting these incredible interviews, thanks to our producer, Mercedes O'Brien. She sent me in there. She sent me in the field. She said, go make content and go come up with 2 questions you ask everybody. So I'm going to share with you a couple people I met with. And later, we are going to process all that video and turn it into something you can watch all together. But I want to show you what I've promised before. So welcome again to Morning Jen. Today's day 3 of the DNC Convention, but I really want to talk about last night because we saw, the Obama 2.0. And I love the Obamas 2.0. So let me start first with what I am talking about. Before I get to Michelle dissing Donald, I want to talk about her lifting up Kamala Harris. Good morning, Susan. I like Vitalin Green. I love this, what you said. Michelle sure did, in other words, diss Donald. But Donald hasn't responded yet. Yeah. Yeah. So let's take a look here. I should say, let's watch this. This is when Michelle made us cry. This is when Michelle unified everyone in that arena. And I think anyone watching. Michelle is a very powerful icon in American culture and politics. She is beloved. And as you know, you've seen people try to recruit her to run for president. That's not what she wants to do, folks. But she showed up today and she knew the assignment and she went beyond. She went beyond the sort of A+ to the extra credit. Michelle went beyond the extra credit to designing her own flipping course on how to do this. And now the woman has a PhD in dissing Donald. But before we get to that, let's talk about her lifting up Kamala. Let's listen to this, and I will talk to you on the other side.
She is one of the most dignified. A tribute to her mother, to my mother, and to your mother, too. The embodiment of the stories we tell ourselves about this country. Her story is your story. It's my story. It's the story of the vast majority of Americans trying to build a better life. Look, Kamala knows, like we do, that regardless of where you come from, what you look like, who you love, how you worship, or what's in your bank account, we all deserve the opportunity to build a decent life. All of our contributions deserve to be accepted and valued. Because no one has a monopoly on what it means to be an American. No one.
I love that. It is true. Uh, no one has a monopoly on what it means to be American. There is no, norm or no generic American. I think we know what folks want that to be. I sure felt pressured by that when I grew up in the 80s, and it was all sort of very preppy, very Ralph Lauren. Oh, sorry, it's Ralph Lauren, I've been told. And I went to a private school, and although I'm Jewish, it was mostly sort of this Episcopalian kind of school. It was diverse, but I always felt that in order to fit in, I needed to fit a certain mold. And I found that really oppressive, because when you try to hide who you are, you die every day inside, and then you end up being fake and surrounding yourself with people who think you're something that you're not, and being resentful. Um, and for me, you shouldn't be surprised. I'm too loud. I talk too much. I ask people uncomfortable questions. And instead of embracing that and saying, you know what, you could actually be a journalist. I mean, I did some journalism. And I didn't, I am a lawyer, but being a lawyer was too adversarial for me, right? I want to engage and all this stuff. Anyway, not entirely about me. This is about you and all of us. I think Michelle last night gave us permission and demanded that we be our full selves, because that is what America is about. But as you know, it was not all for Michelle just lifting up Kamala, sorry. I even have my guys, I even have my Kamala button. I'm just tired. So it wasn't just Michelle Obama lifting and paving the way for Kamala and telling us that we all deserve to be here. We all deserve a good life. This was one of my favorite moments. This is Michelle, telling us, what is what when it comes to Donald. And I'm hoping this is my clip right here. I'm going to start this. I didn't label this. Let's just take our chance.
She is one of the most dignified.
Nope.
A tribute.
Sorry,
to
I just
her
did that, but
mother,
I
to
love
my
her.
mother, and to your mother.
Sorry about that. Here is what I wanted to play for you. This is, as we just talked about, Michelle Obama has this motto and gets repeated and repeated and repeated. And who knows when she abandoned it? I think maybe it was yesterday officially. But different times call for different memes. And here we go, Michelle 2.0.
Fortunately, we know what comes next. We know folks are going to do everything they can to distort her truth. My husband and I sadly know a little something about this. For years, Donald Trump did everything in his power to try to make people fear us. See, his limited, narrow view of the world made him feel threatened by the existence of two hardworking, highly educated, successful people who happen to be black. I want to know, who's going to tell him that the job he's currently seeking might just be one of those black jobs?
I'm pausing it there and going to continue. Do you see how she tilted her head and did that side eye? Hello, Michelle. We all know what that means. Let's keep it going. Hold on. I can play that on a loop. I think I need to make a best speeches, best clips, playlist, because if I'm ever down and out, I want to listen to Michelle Obama. Now, it wasn't just Michelle who was impressive last night. So many people were in so many events, and I see in the chat people people telling jokes. When will Melania try to plagiarize his speech? But also, I'm seeing something throughout the chat, and I've heard it from my friends as well. I have not actually been able to watch any cable news, right? I'm in the arena. I mean, not right now. You can see my backdrop, but I'm literally in the arena or wandering around the hallways or in the the creators studios they've set up, which are fabulous. I'm in these spaces, and then I come home and I go to sleep because I checked my watch. I have a Fitbit, and for the last 4 days, the most sleep I got was 4 hours each night. And last night, I'm pleased to say, I think I got 6. That's why I'm feeling human. So I don't know what the news commentary has been, what the general commentary has been. Maybe you guys can tell me. But for me, what I've seen from my friends, including Danielle Moody, our Nerd Avenger friend, who is here and had the time of her life last night in the arena. What I'm feeling, what I'm hearing is this kind of lovely support in families, between partners, between spouses. I am so impressed with how Doug Emhoff and his family, including his ex-wife, lift up Kamala. They know she's special. And not only that, you don't have to be special to be respected. Oh, that sounds wrong. We're all special. You know what I mean. You shouldn't have to be running for president of the United States to get your flowers and get your respect. Every single person deserves respect, from children who sometimes are told to just sit there, to listen, to be seen and not heard. That is the wrong way. That was never, I'm fortunate that in my family, that was never the way. I know people are raised that way. No, we interact with people at their own level, at our own level, with true respect. And it's not like I have to work hard to model that. I got that. I think I got that from my mom, Shelley Taub. She is always been that way. And regardless of where you agree or disagree on politics or what we should order for dinner, there's always the love and respect, and we should do that. Now, I'm going to show you, which brings me to one of my favorite things today, which is Doug talking about his wife, Kamala. And I should throw some respect on them. This is Doug Emhoff. He is the second gentleman of the United States, and VP Kamala Harris. The video that I'm about to show you begins with one of their daughters looking up and clapping. So, and obviously these are not my clips, because when I'm in the arena, I'm so far away that you're just going to be looking at the Jumbotron. So I'd rather have these close-ups to share with you unless I'm doing my own video.
Kamala is a joyful warrior. It's doing for her country what she has always done for the people that she loves. Her passion will benefit all of us when she's our president. And here's the thing about joyful warriors. They're still warriors. And Kamala is as tough as it comes. Just ask the criminals, the global gangsters, and the witnesses before the Senate Judiciary Committee.
Hell yes, Doug.
She never runs from a fight. And she knows the best way to deal with a coward is to take him head on. Because we all know cowards are weak, and Kamala Harris can smell weakness. She doesn't tolerate any BS. You've all seen that look, and you know that look I'm talking about. That look is not just a meme. It reflects her true belief in honest and direct leadership. And it's also why she will not be distracted by nonsense.
Okay. Can you imagine Donald Trump saying that about any of his wives or mistresses? I can't. Can you imagine actually J.D. Vance saying that about a woman? This is like, we talked about the Bechdel test, about have you ever seen, have you ever made the test is like if a movie passes a test, and a lot of movies don't. And the test again has three components is, are there at least two women in the film who have actual roles with names? They're featured in the film. Secondly, do the women actually speak to themselves? I don't mean in their talk to themselves when they wander around looking for their car keys. I mean, do they speak to each other, the two women? And if they do engage in conversation, do they ever speak about anything other than men? And it's not, and actually, shockingly, most Hollywood movies historically do not pass the Bechdel test. Okay, we need a new test. The test needs to be the Doug test. When have you ever seen in public life, how rarely have you seen a man praise a woman, not for his service to him, but for her own attributes, whether that be, in this case, leadership or taking, no nonsense. I want to say, and a shout out to my husband, Michael, that I wouldn't be the person I am in this society without a partner like him. And I don't want to get choked up right now. But, I'm not with him. He didn't travel with me. I miss him. I sent him a message last night saying, I need to come home. I missed you. I'm way too long. And he said, stay there. You're doing a great job. Whenever I feel like I'm falling down on the job as a parent, we totally co-parent. He's there for our kids. And not only that, we have a very supportive relationship. It's not a one-way street. And I never thought this kind of thing was possible. It's wonderful. What I will tell you is I never thought it would be a fully loving and supportive relationship like this. And I feel so grateful. But what I did fucking think we would have is universal daycare. I swear to God, when I was in high school and I was super ambitious, and I'm like, I want to have a career, whether it's journalism or law or writing. It turns out I did all three, right? How am I going to do my job if I don't have someone to watch my kids? I thought there'd be daycare down the hall from every job. Well, it turns out now, thanks to COVID, a lot of us can work from home and we can help be there with our kids. But it turns out you actually need to have a village to raise your children, and you need supportive partners. And because my husband is an artist and has a studio at home, that means he's around more than I am. And that's not the case for everybody. But, my little pitch to people in partnerships with people, if you want to have a really supportive home life, you do need balance in your relationships. It's really hard to do it all. Or maybe you need to do what Michelle Obama did with her mother, bless her soul, who went to the White House to help be there to support them. And this is different than J.D. Vance. No, I do not think that older women, what he calls postmenopausal women, are put on this earth to nurture everyone's children. I think everyone knows their mission, and we go through different phases in life, and men can be nurturing. Women can be. Anyone can be. So that's my little feminism pitch. And thank you, Doug, for sending me down that path. Now, my next featured star of the event is, you've heard of him, former President Barack Obama. And I'm going to do that. Then I'm going to move over to some of my own clips, and then, of course, Crazy Town. Okay. So Barack Obama was the last speaker. I want to say Michelle was the keynote. He followed her. And he ended the evening and he did great. But I loved the part, and my favorite thing that Barack Obama did is, in his Obama 2.0 moment, is just needle Donald Trump a little bit more about one of his greatest weaknesses. And that is his obsession with crowd size. And I realize I need to load up that file. Here we go. And here it is. Let's listen.
Here's a 78-year-old billionaire who has not stopped whining about his problems since he rode down his golden escalator 9 years ago. It has been a constant stream of gripes and grievances that's actually been getting worse now that he's afraid of losing to Kamala. There's the childish nicknames, the crazy conspiracy theories, this weird obsession with crowd sizes. It just goes on and on and on.
Yeah, he went there, and Donald deserves it. I know it's juvenile, but it gets to Donald, and we need to remember that it wasn't terrible. It was subtle. It was made for prime time. But when he adjusted his hands like that in a sort of accordion style and told Donald, you are weirdly obsessed. What is this correlation between your weird obsession with crowd sizes and your concern about your manhood? What the, like, how immature. Yeah, 78-year billionaire, full of grievance. How is he going to make America great again? You know, I know we're not going back. He needs to actually, he never was great. He never felt good about himself. And he needs to work that out through therapy and not in the Oval Office again. Or, you know, maybe, you know, I've heard that there are rehab opportunities. There's a library and there's group therapy in prison. And he would greatly benefit from something like that. Before I pivot now to some of the videos that I created yesterday at the convention, I want to ask you, I'd be so grateful for your support. If you can please click on that little link in the right-hand corner and subscribe to @GenTaub. It means the world to me. I'm kind of a numbers person. I can't help it. And when I see the numbers grow in terms of free subscribers, I am thrilled. Also, I'm really excited to share with you that it's only been, I think I've been doing this for 3 weeks, and it's unbelievable how much this network has grown and how many people are finding our new location for Morning Gen. Remember, I'm still part of Mary Trump Media. We just have broken out into separate channels. I'm so grateful that you are finding me here, that you are sharing the show, and that you are subscribing, because I have now qualified to the next level of interaction with YouTube, which will make it possible for me to continue. I'm about to start the semester next week, and I am going to continue every morning, Monday through Friday, bringing you fresh takes on legal and political news at 8 a.m. Eastern, except yesterday when I had that little glitch with the time zone. But I'm here for you. I love seeing the community we are building in the chat, and I love that. And also, I have to do this little teeny pitch. I don't have to, but I feel like it. From Mary Trump Media, I love this. Don't vote for fascist mugs. It's union made. What I love about this is it lasts forever. It's not one of these mugs that say something like defeat Donald or just about this campaign, which will be historic. Don't get me wrong. But don't vote for fascists is a message you can carry anywhere, like to a picnic. You could bring it to your Starbucks and fill up your coffee there. You know, this lasts forever. There's never a moment, there's never a season to vote for fascists. So I love that. And I think you can find that on Mary's, if you go to Mary's station or the Mary Trump's shop, you can find those. She did not give this to me. I ordered it as soon as I saw her offering it, because I don't need to wait for a freebie. I needed my flippin' mug, and I'm glad to have it. And that's what I'm going to have my coffee out of. Okay, enough of that. Let's get back to the content. So, yesterday, I was super happy that, our producer Mercedes said, go in there. I had my iPhone, a lav mic, and just go talk to people. And one of the first people I spoke with is a media star who's only 21 and still in college, Harry Sisson. And I saw him there. I wouldn't have necessarily recognized him, but, my millennial and what comes next, Gen Z, my millennial colleague, Stephen Solomon, and my Gen Z, she might be Gen Z, I think, producer, whatever. They know who everybody is. And she said, that's Harry Sisson. So I walked over and I said, oh, right. I knew who he was as soon as I saw his face. So I walk over and I'm like jumping up and down because I don't know why. I'm like, I know you. I'm so excited to see you. And he actually said he follows me, which was really cool. So I'm going to show you what I talked to him about. These are the first questions I'm trying out. I'm asking them to everybody I meet.
Hey, Harry. So, hey, put that closer here. Okay, so tell me, what has been the most emotional moment for you at the convention?
Oh, man. I think it's a tie.
Okay, I know you probably couldn't have heard me because he's holding the lav mic. I asked him, what has been your most emotional moment at the convention so far? And as you heard, he said it's been a tie. Let's hear.
I think the first one is when those 3 women came out and talked about their experiences with reproductive care, being assaulted and, having access, but that, many women don't. Or it was when President Biden came out, and that 5-minute standing ovation was just a real show of appreciation from the entire crowd. Those moments were really, really powerful in my view.
Okay, just to be clear, this was obviously before the Obama spoke. This is when I was wandering around yesterday, maybe around, 6 p.m. Okay.
I got one more question for you. My next question is, what kind of rat fuckery do you think the Republicans have in store for us?
So the second question I ask everybody is, what kind of rat fuckery do you think the Republicans have in store for us before November, or what kind of October surprise? Let's listen. Oops, sorry, I want to add him back to the stage.
God, it could be anything and everything. I mean, that's kind of where I'm at. Who knows what Donald Trump's going to pull? I mean, I was just talking to somebody earlier about, what do you think will happen if Trump loses? I'm like, I don't know. And that's what's really scary. It's not going to be just a normal election where the Republicans outline what they like and what we outline what we like. And it's not going to be a normal conclusion of an election where the other person accepts it. It's going to be something crazy, and I don't know what the crazy is.
So tell my viewers who you are, how they can find you.
Yeah, my name is Harry Sisson. I'm a content creator. I'm 21 years old. I'm still in college. And I'm on every platform. I'm on Twitter, YouTube, TikTok.
What's your handle?
And my handle is Harry J. Sisson, just my name.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Okay, that was super fun. I also ran into my old friend. I call him a friend because I've never met him in real life, but he has been very generous with his time. He has zoomed into my white collar crime course twice. And, I've been on his podcast when I used to have last year when I had my booked up podcast with Politicon. He was one of my first guests. And I admire him for changing his life around, for deciding to do the right thing. And yeah, people criticize this guy. I'm talking about Michael Cohen. Some people criticize him saying, yeah, well, isn't he cashing in on his, isn't he just trying to be a celebrity, whatever? So what? The more Michael Cohen is out there living his best life and doing things to fight Donald Trump from getting back into office, good for him. And we owe him a debt of gratitude because he did testify before Congress. He did turn on Donald, which so many people wouldn't do. If one more person or 2 more people had turned on Donald Trump, we would not be in this situation. Sure, do I wish Michael had done it earlier? Yeah, but that's not who he is. And this goes back to this. You don't need to be a hero to get our respect, and he deserves our respect. So this is when I ran into him for the first time. The person filming him, and I apologize for the quality of this video. This I had uploaded. I'll have a better one when I put this reel together.
Are you going to be asking me questions?
Fuck yes, I got 2 questions for you.
Okay, I say to him first, I have 2 questions for you. My first one was, what kind of rat fuckery do you think the Republicans have in store? I hope you can hear him.
I don't think they have anything anymore. I think everything that Donald has been planning, which is why he's losing his mind right now, everything that he's been planning has now fallen apart because it's not Joe Biden. They were going to attack Joe Biden on his age, cognitive, the whole. We all know it. Donald's not an inventive kind of guy. He's going to use what's obvious, but he's going to do it in a disgusting way. It doesn't work anymore.
Right.
Because why? Because now you have who's the old man in the room?
So you hear this, that Donald's going to try everything he can to sort of mess up Kamala Harris's campaign, but it's not going to work. And as Michael says here, but who is the old man in the room? Let's continue.
The answer? On shits and pants.
One last thing. What was the most emotional moment for you so far?
I think it was AOC, yes.
So I asked him what the most emotional moment was for him. Let me just rewind that and you can hear.
What was the most emotional moment for you so far?
I think it was AOC yesterday. There was something about her speech where all of a sudden it was like I felt goosebumps. It's like, I've always liked AOC a lot, but I fell in love with.
Okay, I had to cut him off because literally at that moment, what was happening is Mary Trump, you know our Mary, had a TV hit with Gordon Klepper of The Daily Show. They had set up a like studio right in the hallway of the first floor of the convention. So you would see people milling by on the show. I'm not sure when it's going to actually air, but I want to show you this moment. I think I've got this here. I want to show you this. Here we go. Here's a slide. I want to bring this up. I just thought I brought this up on stage. I am having an issue, guys. Okay. Here is my slides. Here is Mary on The Daily Show. And it doesn't want, oh, there it is. Okay, guys, here we go. So this is, you can see Mary standing there in the jeans jacket. There's Gordon Klepper. And I know there are just people milling around. I am standing on the side where the studio was set up, taking this screenshot. We also have, I also have some video from that. And so does our producer. It's just hard to upload. And I want to actually save that. That's for her. I will tell you that sometimes I can be a little too much. And so when I was standing there, waiting for Mary's hit, when I rushed over after Michael Cohen and rushed over to where they were, and we were waiting, and Jordan Klepper was interviewing folks. I was like looking around at the setup they had there, and it was kind of impressive. They had this cameraman like you would have in a major studio, like a giant camera, and he's got it like hoisted up on his shoulder with shoulder pads. And then behind him, amazingly, there was this guy holding a boom. They want like really good sound, right? They're not having people hold little lav mics. That's not how they do it on real TV. So there was this guy holding this giant boom. And I was kind of looking, I look around and I'm like, okay, I want to maybe get a shot of behind the scenes. And then I looked at him and he was like movie star quality looks. And so when I had my camera on him, he kind of looked over at me and raised his eyebrow. And I'm like, okay, I'm feeling like Cecil B. DeMille, like I'm giving, well, actually, that's not who filmed Sunset Boulevard. And this guy was no Norma Desmond. But I was like, this guy needs a close-up. And so I do a pan over and a really tight close-up to this guy who was super hot. And Michael doesn't care if I say that. It's a fact. It's a fact. And I wanted to get this guy. And then the producer, I finished filming that and I step away, and it's like the producer who looked really fucking serious. He looked like he could have been on an episode of The Sopranos. He was not fucking around. He looked at me. He's like, why are you filming my camera crew? And I'm thinking, I said, because it's interesting behind the scenes. And I'm thinking, you're out in fucking public. I can film what I want. I'm not going to dox him. I don't know the guy's name. So I can't wait to show you that clip. I think I have a future, like in movies that objectify men. I'm kidding. It's bad to look. Remember I said earlier, what am I doing? We all should be supported and seen, and no one is just their external properties and how they are of service, whether it's like visual feast for others. I'm sure he is a whole person, but I will tell you, he didn't squint at me or frown at me or shake his head at all. He was fine with the photo, or he would have told me, oh my gosh, I should have asked him, can I film? But the reason why I didn't that is because you're not supposed to talk on a studio. Okay, guys, so I'm not perfect. What the hell? Okay, one last thing before I get to Crazy Town is this. There were some people inside the convention hall. I don't mean the arena part, but the hall itself, like, ringing around the stadium outside area, which I've talked about yesterday, who, were expressing their views about wanting a ceasefire in Gaza. And there was a group about to hold a press conference. And I asked two women in that group if I could interview them. And they kindly said yes. And I did not ask them the two questions about their most emotional moment or rat fuckery. That would not be respectful. They were there for a purpose. But I wanted to ask them like what they were doing there, and who they were. And let's take a listen.
Hi, thank you so much for being here. I believe in, obviously, democracy and freedom of speech. And I heard that you were uncommitted. And I wanted to ask you, does that relate to Gaza, the war in Gaza?
So they had told me they were uncommitted. That's what they were doing there. They hadn't decided who they were voting for. And as you heard at the beginning, I told them I'm a supporter of free speech. So I was making clear that I'm not going to condemn them, even if I don't agree with their message, and I might. So let's listen. I asked them, are you here because of the war in Gaza? Oops, shoot, let me add them back.
Yes. And so, oh, sorry. What I really wanted to ask you, though, is what do you think of Donald Trump discouraging Netanyahu from stopping his bullshit and coming to the table with her a deal?
Okay, if you can hear that, I was reflecting on the news from yesterday that Donald Trump had apparently gotten on the phone with Benjamin Netanyahu, Israel's prime minister, and told them not to make a deal, not to engage in a ceasefire, not to come to a peaceful solution, which is terrible. Okay, and I want to hear what their reaction is. The reason why I was asking them about Donald Trump is I feel like there's been so much emphasis on attacking Harris and Biden and not a lot of protests at the Republican National Convention. So let's listen. Oops, sorry, I keep doing that.
I think that this is an opportunity for our Vice President, Kamala Harris, who has shown that she supports Palestinians and their humanity, to step up with a policy that actually represents that with a ceasefire and with an arms embargo.
So are you looking for her to make a speech and make commitments to stop sending weapons?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I want to see that in policy because she's someone who believes in good policy and she can show that she can make better policy than President Biden was able to do, right? We are expecting her to fix a lot, and I think this is one of those things she can fix.
Now, do you want to identify either your name or the organization you're with? You don't have to, but would you
Yeah,
like
my
to?
name is Asma, and I'm with Uncommitted, Minnesota.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so really happy that I spoke with her. I want to make clear that this is what we're doing. There is no right way to be an American at all. I stand by that. And I'm hoping that people who are uncommitted, make the decision I want them to make, but they've got to live their best life. And I think it's clear that there is no one better for peace in the Middle East or anyone's rights than Kamala Harris. How anyone can support Donald Trump is crazy, but I understand how this organization is trying to use their leverage and trying to say, please win us over. We matter. Our voices matter. And again, I don't know why you wouldn't be committed, but good for her. Good for her being there. Okay. Let us move to Crazy Town. This is, as you know, my favorite part of the show. And although I don't have a video for you, I've got some conversation about Crazy Town. Friends, Crazy Town is Donald Trump's brain and everyone who has to dodge the flying ketchup bottles around him. As you may have seen on social media, actually, I do have a clip for you on this. I'm sorry. During the DNC convention last night, Donald Trump was losing his shit. He was, for my friends, I am on True Social, but I don't get alerts on my phone. They were getting, if you look at anyone's phone who gets alerts, one after another, after another, after another, after another, stacked up. He is freaking out on True Social. He has not made a public statement. There is no way that he isn't feeling bruised and angry about the crowd size issue. And he's just going to lie about crowds. And so adding to this, what is the feeding in to the Crazy Town is this complete diss about crowd size. What the Harris campaign did last night or yesterday is unbelievable. Earlier in the day, they were in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, filling to the gills and beyond the same stadium that was used in the Republican National Convention. And this happened the same day that Kamala filled this giant 20,000 plus seat arena. And I'm telling you, no bullshit here. There was no way to get seats inside. People were milling around, going up to every level. There were people on the street, trying to get in, and apparently at some point they had to turn people away because there just wasn't any more room. And I want to pull up that video for you about the crowd size. And I thought that I'm pretty sure. Oh, here we go. This is this is it. Oh, Milwaukee. I'm being clear. This is what was happening in Milwaukee the same day, that they were able to also fill up the DNC, right? She was doing this while the convention was going on here in Chicago. And then she comes over and pops in and says hello. Yeah, it was only Tuesday. We are fired up for her arrival on Thursday. So you saw the crowds cheering Michelle Obama, and these are the crowds also cheering Kamala Harris, all for the same cause. Donald Trump is losing his mind. Let's watch. Milwaukee! Can you even, let's just one more time. Milwaukee! Okay, that was Crazy Town. And as I told you, one of my favorite things to add to my playlist will be Michelle Obama dissing Donald Trump. So we are going to go out right now listening to her last comment. Remember, this is Michelle 2.0. She is going to fight back, and we are going to win. Let's do this.
Fortunately, we know what comes next. We know folks are going to do everything they can to distort her truth. My husband and I sadly know a little something about this. For years, Donald Trump did everything in his power to try to make people fear us. See, his limited, narrow view of the world made him feel threatened by the existence of two hardworking, highly educated, successful people who happen to be black. Wait. I want to know, who's going to tell him that the job he's currently seeking might just be one of those black jobs?
That's what I got for you guys. Remember, we are going to be on Mary Trump Media right here on YouTube. Please tune in for what happened last night with Mary Trump, Danielle Moody, and I. Again, Mary Trump Media today at 10:30 Eastern. Can't wait to see you, and have a great day. I know I will.